Alright guys, here we are on the map Daybreak, one of my favorite maps in StarCraft 2 at the moment, and down at the yellow, our winner of last game, the guy who put imbaFXO up one game over StarTale, it is imbaBratOK. And up at the top right part of the map, in the red, from the team StarTale, is a giant ape, but he also plays StarCraft 2, it is StarTale.KingKong.
Alright, well there we go, guys.
I actually don't know if he's actually a giant ape. He may
I hope he is, so...
a Korean person.
That's fantastic. He may just be a Korean
That's
person.
True. Could just be a regular person who chose the name King Kong.
I hope so. Hopefully King Kong pre-Peter Jackson remake. But
I liked that. I liked the King Kong Peter Jackson thing. I thought it was good.
It was okay. It drug on.
Well, I liked that too. I don't know.
That's all right. So
we argue about movies a lot, don't we?
We're like an old married couple.
No, not like that.
Yes,
like
it is.
Two movie
yes, it is. That is actually true. Yeah, we have a bit different taste in movies, but we have found some that we've agreed upon. So
yes, that's right.
But okay, so let's take a look now. Not sure what BratOK's going to go with. May just blow my mind, do something out of the ordinary. I would expect reactored Hellions of some sort, but
kind of the standard these days.
Yep.
Yeah, and rightfully so. It's a great opening. And what I'm really happy about is if you've been watching the GSL recently, you've seen a lot of people change from just reactored Hellion into what they're doing to go from reactored Hellion into like Marine Drop or reactored Hellion into Banshee and then into whatever they're planning on doing. So it's kind of like there's this extra step now because it's gotten to the point in the metagame where Zergs are expecting the Hellions, so they're preparing for that. So Terrans are like, all right, they're expecting my Hellions. What else can I do to get around what they're doing to do damage anyway and then go into what my plan is? So I really like the reactored Hellion into Banshee into like Mech, for instance. I tweeted about that earlier today. I think that's a really cool way to go where you can do that harassment with the Banshee. Get some map control. Quite cool.
This is a little interesting, though. BratOK going back, remember when I said basically every game we'd seen from him, he had gone 15 gas. Well, he ends up doing it this game in what I would consider to be a little more non-traditional time to do it, as you would have expected, just, you know, very, very fast reactored Hellion. Now, he could still do that, and we've seen him do this in TBC, where he just builds it a little bit later, gets him out a couple extra Marines. Also, the flexibility of putting a CC on the low ground, then building the Hellion, and I'm sorry, the factory after that.
Yep, pretty normal opening from King Kong here as well. He's kind of getting his bananas in order, if you will. It's just he named himself King Kong. What am I supposed to do? He named himself King Kong, man.
No, I'll allow it. I'll allow it. I like it, actually.
How can I not say something?
Oh, that Marine just crossed the restricted area. That's no good.
It's true. What's so bad about that square on the ground?
Joshy and I, every time we cast a game on this map and something crosses the restricted line, it just dies within a minute. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's
kind
just
of
bad
frightening.
Luck. Yes.
Right.
Okay. There is indeed a factory coming up along with a reactor.
Yep. A little bit of a one barracks expand and then into reactored Hellion. Pretty common on this map.
Yes, indeed.
Why not?
And Zergling speed coming up for King Kong, and he pulled all but one drone off of gas, so we can start focusing on minerals.
Oh, okay. Interesting that he did leave that one drone on gas. Kind of clues us in that he's planning on doing something with that in the near future, whether it might be defensive banelings or possibly a roach warren as well. We'll have to wait and see, but you know, until then, pretty normal opening, getting that one spine crawler just to kind of stay safe.
Yeah, this gives you a little bit different time too to attack with these Marines before the reactored Hellions follow this up as well. This is fun. Looks like there's plenty enough there for King Kong to hold it off, and I love how he didn't overreact. He just put up a bunch of drones afterwards. Didn't put out a bunch of Zerglings when they weren't necessary.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's only 4 Marines. It's kind of one of the advantages of doing that one racks expand before you get your factory is that you can pump out a few more Marines, and if you just go right into reactored Hellion and then expand, because you can put a little bit of pressure on your opponent. You know, if they happen to drone too heavily, if they happen to like mess up their second queen timing, you might be able to kill a drone or two.
Sure.
But it's anything you can do to put a little bit of pressure on your opponent is always great.
All right, so let's go. Wow, the 2D portrait for a larva is kind of weird. Just saw that. Let's see if I get a chance to click
Wait,
on one
what?
later. But I just noticed the 2D portrait for a larva. We're using 2D portraits right now. It takes a lot of taxing off the CPU. But
okay.
a few Zerglings try to poke in. Nothing really happens there. BratOK's able to drive that away pretty easily. We do have a little bit of SimCity being played, though, by KingKong as he's putting that evolution chamber up in the front to close off this choke point a little bit.
Yep, you don't want Hellions to get around the back. That is no fun at all. Wow, BratOK getting a pretty quick stim here, so we're going to see some sort of timing a little bit earlier. I would imagine that he's planning on doing something with that. Normally you don't get stimmed that fast unless you're planning on actually using it for something. And
hatchery being built at the front as well for KingKong, so continuing with that SimCity, there's just a very small path where these Hellions can actually make their way through. KingKong taking pretty good control of the map right now, but I gotta say, BratOK's skyrocketing ahead in supply right now.
Yeah, he is for the moment. Pretty normal. I mean, nothing weird about Terran being a little bit ahead at this stage in the game, especially if they've already got their third command center going down like BratOK does. But KingKong, you know, when he gets a little bit farther in tech, usually the Zerg will shoot ahead at that point in the game. That's kind of what we're waiting for at this point. He is getting that Baneling Nest and a Roach Warren as well. It's not something you see Zergs do terribly often these days, getting the Baneling Nest and then the Roach Warren afterwards. Usually it's the Roach Warren early on and then a Baneling Nest. So I'm a little bit surprised about that. I think he just wants to stay, you know, really, really safe. He might even be a little bit nervous at this point, too.
Well, let's see. How many drones does he have out? 43 right now, respectable number. BratOK actually going after his third base, though, over at the 10 o'clock position. And he has a strong little push of units about to make their way out.
Yep.
Well, let's see.
Here he comes. It's the stim timing we were all worried about. Oh, no. Oh, Queen, what are you doing?
Bye-bye, Queen.
Oh, that was bold.
That
no energy for transfuse either. He really does need to be careful with those queens.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like BratOK is just going to go ahead and start hitting the macro hatch here. It's a very nice plan. There are 11 roaches and 4 banelings on the way that will be sufficient to drive off this force from BratOK.
Yep, not using stim quite yet. That's good. He doesn't want to let those Marines take really too much damage if he can avoid it. First roaches are on the way, though. Is he going to try to focus down the hatcheries? Or just going to make a run for it? Oh, BratOK actually not paying attention for a second, taking some hits on the Marines. He's got a micro against these banelings as well. He could kill all of them. Nope, just deciding to make a run for it. Did some decent damage to the hatchery and didn't lose a lot in return. So overall, not a bad little poke by BratOK.
Yeah, it cost a lot of units to pop out of his opponent as well. So we see 26 Zerglings coming up. Not another base somewhere else. Not a bunch of drones.
Yeah, I think...
Oh,
whoops. I've got a feeling that KingKong might be going for a bit of a bust here. He really is producing a ton of Zerglings.
Yeah.
Getting that +1 ground weapon upgrade, though, as well. And that's not going to time out with any attack that he's doing here. He's just going to go for it. All right, how's this going to do? This would be a lot better with those Zerglings. Yeah, he's got to pull back. Otherwise, these roaches are just going to be lost for nothing. Oh, making a bunch of banelings, though, right when the Marines come down the ramp.
Yeah, did BratOK catch a glimpse of those?
Well, some big risks being taken by KingKong right now. Wow.
Certainly. And, you know, unupgraded Marines, not very effective against the Roach by itself, but stim Marines in mass like that will just tear through roaches.
Yeah, not bad. I like this little Zergling counterattack here. Doing a little bit of damage, but that's going to be ended once a Planetary Fortress. But here comes the attack from KingKong.
Yeah, the banelings were all largely grouped up as well. They haven't done that much damage, as a matter of fact. Now, the force that's coming down from the side, no, it's actually driven off by the Planetary Fortress up in the top left. So BratOK actually holds really, really well.
Yeah, not too bad. Kind of poorly executed attack by KingKong. He didn't really seem to know what to do with his banelings. It is kind of what it struck me as.
Sure.
It was a little bit disjointed, but he's still doing okay. He's still right up there in unit count with BratOK, so he'll be able to defend any sort of counter push if BratOK decided to do something like that. I think we're going to see BratOK kind of sit back here. He might decide to go into drop play while he builds up his Marine tank army.
Certainly.
And, yeah, it'd be a little bit dangerous to move out on the map at this stage.
All right, well, the Planetary Fortress going to come under fire here possibly in a bit. We'll see if KingKong wants to bring anything else up, because even a couple of SCVs right now should be enough to help repair this up. Depends on where the banelings go. And now there's Marines up at the front as well. Those banelings actually waste themselves on the Planetary Fortress as it explodes, and really no damage done.
Yeah, really bizarre move by KingKong to send those banelings, and I'm not quite sure what he was trying to accomplish with that. Maybe he thought that more SCVs would have been transferred by that time. I guess that's a possibility, but still, you know, he didn't even bring enough to just right-click the planetary, so.
All right, well, that's a huge resource sink there for KingKong as well. Well, we'll see what he has as a follow-up to this. Spire's on the way now. He is on 3 base, so we'll see what he can make of this, but things looking pretty dire for him at the moment.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, BratOK moving across the map right now. Pretty normal tank marine timing. Yep. 2 tanks. Got the medevacs.
Yeah, right. He's going to make his way
on
out
the
with
way.
Really not much there. Oh, and a huge round of drones just popping out of KingKong now as well. Those are not going to be units that could defend against this push, and this could get bad. We'll find out. Tanks sieging up. They hit the Banelings. Not yet. The Banelings wasting themselves once again. They only took out a handful of Marines, and now they are all dead. Just a bunch of Lings coming out now. KingKong does not have a lot to defend at the moment.
Nice little split by BratOK there, actually.
Yeah.
Saving a lot of those Marines. Still a pretty fearsome force that he has coming up the ramp.
And let's see, he's going to drop into the main at the same time
Nice.
as well. Those 8 Banelings are going to finish up, and we'll see if he can make something of that.
Well, if he can
Nice.
kind of pressure the third and the main at the same time, he's going to really split KingKong's kind of focus here. One of those should do some damage. We'll have to see.
All right,
well,
well,
that's a lot of units.
both of those are actually getting attacked at the same time.
Ooh, maybe not.
Ooh, yeah. That does get cleaned up, but a nice split by BratOK to trade as cost effectively as possible right there. Still BratOK up by 20 supply, even after losing both those attacks.
Yep. Now, KingKong is getting his ground upgrades, though, and the mutas are on the way. How many Marines does BratOK have out right now? He has 24 Marines. Okay,
yeah.
so he should be fairly safe. He's probably going to need to play a little bit defensively, even though he is moving out. If KingKong decides to try to harass with those Mutalisks, BratOK might take a bit of damage from that.
All right, well, let's see now is taking a look around. How many mutas just popped out? 7, 8th on the way. Okay, there it is. And we do have that +1 weapons for Air Forces coming out now, but BratOK is pretty good control right now. He's moving around with a big force. It's going to be very difficult for KingKong to try and engage straight up. Looks like BratOK finally going after his 4th base as well. That is on the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's making his way down around the 6 o'clock position now with +3 weapons in tow. 2-2 is just about to finish up for those ground forces, though. Those Lings are going to be extremely powerful. Few units running through the front. Sorry, this base is going to have to be canceled. BratOK will hopefully siege those up on the high ground in just a second. There we go.
That's right. KingKong's definitely going to need to cancel that, like you said. He might be able to get a decent flank, but he just doesn't have a whole lot of army right now. In fact, he's just going to go for a counterattack. All right, this is another risk taken by our Zerg player, but BratOK might be caught unawares by it. We'll have to see how it all works out. Oh man, now turning around, a lot of indecision for KingKong. He just doesn't know how to handle this situation, I guess. You know, either that or it's nerves. Tough to tell. He does end up getting a pretty good flank on this army here.
Yeah, definitely. None of the Banelings fell as well, so it's just a large group of Marines that are going to fall pretty quickly to this little task force here. And BratOK is going to take quite the hit in supply. Back at home, though, he still does have quite the army.
Yep, that's right. And he did manage to cause that cancel on the 4th, so the bases are still even for both players. KingKong trying to re-expand up at the top like we can see there, and BratOK trying to take his 4th as well. Oh, no, those Zerglings. They picked the wrong place to go at the wrong time.
Yes, they did. You shall not pass. And there's a good number of mutas in the air now. What's up?
Gandalf tank.
Gandalf tank, I like it. And or Black Knight from Monty Python.
Oh, yeah, that too.
When you think I'm making a nice highbrow reference, usually just scale it back a few notches.
It's just Monty Python.
I'm a lowbrow person. So
that's okay.
It's okay.
I like Monty Python. All right.
Let's see here. Transfer over to this middle base now. Another planetary fortress popping there. As BratOK is actually starting to make his 5th command center. Decent-sized group of mutas swinging their way around the top left. A scan goes down. BratOK knows exactly what's about to happen. That's so unfortunate for KingKong.
Oh, KingKong, though, drawing a pretty big stim out of BratOK, simming about a 1/3 of his Marines there. That's going to use up some medevac energy. But these Mutalisks are really the only thing that are keeping StarTale KingKong in the game right now. He needs to get some sort of harassment done. Needs to buy himself some time while he gets his 4th base up. Oh, he might get a tank. No, doesn't even get one tank there. Another stim from BratOK, but he is able to run away. Oh, that counterattack at the 3rd, though, that StarTale KingKong might be doing soon.
Well, let's find out. I thought he was going to open for a big flank, but he had just waited for so long. He could have caught all those tanks unsieged. BratOK needs to lift off that command center and draw everything into the planetary fortress here in a second and start mass repairing. No, he's just going to run away. There's way too many Banelings.
He's going to kill a lot of SCVs here.
Bye.
Not as many as I thought, really, but he's going to get a decent amount. Does kill the planetary. Takes BratOK down to 3 bases again.
And looks like, oh, there are a couple of Thors now, so the threat of the Muta is not going to be so much, but they are tearing up the economy over here at the 4th.
Oh, wow.
And oh, a couple of banelings get in.
Wow.
They don't get the hits, but they do quite a bit more damage. There is a drop going on for BratOK that KingKong is just not noticing, though.
No, I guess not. I mean, he is losing his 5th base right now. The hatchery almost dying down at the 4th, but BratOK losing another planetary, it looks like here.
Yeah.
Might lose it. No, he just barely saves it.
And he does have enough Marines there. He should be able to clean that up, but it looks like a couple of these hatcheries are going down at the same time. So much action actually happening all at once. BratOK is going to launch himself into the main as this drop gets cleaned up there in the middle.
BratOK's doing a really good job of hitting on multiple fronts right now. He's going to lose the queens here. Yeah, StarTale KingKong losing both of those queens. And I don't know, despite the damage that KingKong is doing, I kind of feel like he's falling apart a little bit. He's kind of losing control of this game.
Yeah, certainly. That drop in the main is still doing damage. It's going after drones and the hive right now. Oh, got to watch out for those banelings.
Yep, nice round there. He does manage to clean up a lot of those Marines and to kill the planetary.
Yeah. But, you know, BratOK is still doing pretty well for himself, pushing through with a gigantic army. There's a number of banelings sitting there, but that's really about it. Still, nothing has just cleaned up this force in the middle, and that hive may fall to 4 Marines.
I guess so, yeah. I mean, StarTale KingKong now finally moving into the main to take out that drop. The planetary, again, saved by BratOK, but now he has got a huge siege line set up in the natural of our Zerg player.
Yeah.
And that is going to be nearly impossible for him to break.
Well, let's see. This Thor's at the front, certainly a good way to tank damage. And looks like these units making their way back to try another run at this planetary fortress, which may actually work. We have a few more units running their way up now as BratOK transfers a lot of SCVs. But when you have your main production tech and mining coming under fire the way KingKong has, it makes it very difficult to try and reinforce. He is putting up a Nidus network, though.
Yep. Nidus, a little bit of a desperation move from our Zerg player. Oh no, those +3 attack Marines do so much damage.
Yeah, they do.
Wow, you know, even though they died, they really, really reduced the health of those Mutalisks.
All right, well, BratOK still with a pretty good push there. And, oh, yeah, just standing in there and taking it and actually going to win the war against the Mutas.
Oh,
yeah, 1 Marine left over.
Tier 1, go, go! Yep.
Tell us how you really feel, Doa.
Hey, I play Terran, man. I don't mind.
Here come the Marines in now, and KingKong's just getting pushed back farther and farther, and this hive is so low on health now.
Yep. That is about right.
Oh,
Nidus Worm, though, coming up. Where is it coming up?
I'm not sure. We'll go ahead and take a look here in a second as we watch kind of this fight go up. Is it actually going back inside his own base to transfer some units away?
Yes, wow, yeah, it is. He's actually going to transfer some banelings out of there to try to do some sort of counterattack. Looks like KingKong wants to try to force a base trade, but is it too late? I don't know. There goes the hive.
Yeah, bye-bye. Boom. All right.
There goes the hive.
So let's see here. Quite a few units sitting on the middle of the map, but not a lot compared to what BratOK has sitting there. He is starting another command center. I'm sorry, lifting off this earlier command center and floating it over to the fort.
Oh, man, he's going to kill that planetary of BratOK's. Here he goes. Is he just going to go ahead and right-click it? Oh, he's not going to catch the SCVs. Really nice response by BratOK, even though he lost the planetary to get most of his SCVs out in time.
Yeah, definitely. And Nidus Network going to fall along with all the rest of the tech. In fact, I think, it looks like he's rebuilt a spawning pool and a baneling nest already. But just not a lot left for KingKong. He is sitting on 49 workers, which is more than what BratOK has out, which means that his army value is actually way, way, way less.
Yeah, things are kind of finishing up here for KingKong. You know, he's keeping BratOK. Actually, he's really, really reduced the mining of BratOK, but this army that he's having to deal with, I just don't think the Zerg player can handle it. You know, maybe if he would have kind of gathered all his forces in one place, made some sort of big concerted attack, brought some drones, he could have done. Oh, a lot of banelings help. So, right when he unsieges, but he uses the banelings on the tanks. I don't know about that, KingKong. I don't know, man. Those Marines are going to do a lot more damage than those tanks would.
Yes, they are. The Mutas just really aren't doing all that much left over as well. BratOK dropping down to the bottom right-hand corner. I really don't understand that baneling move, but...
yeah, I mean, he tried to just kind of do what he could with it, but all the damage being done by BratOK, the supply going even lower. Well, those Marines didn't make it, but... Yeah.
Nope, unfortunately. But KingKong is down to his last mining base over here at the top.
It's getting close.
There is only one command center left over for BratOK. He will eventually need to lift that somewhere else as well, but he just has so much more on the ground than his opponent.
Yeah, this is actually ending up being a pretty close game here, but BratOK, the DPS with these Marines is just really winning him the game right now. Looks like he's going to lose that group, and still twice the supply of his opponent as well.
Yeah, certainly. He still has, well, actually, they're both even on Harvesters, which is the funniest to me after all this. There it is.
GG, there it is. Yep.